What's the hubbub? Lanterns just shook up the DCU in the best way possible. I'll also talk about the latest anti-woke and Snyder cult segment review bombing attempt and some DCU updates. Lanterns has earned 9.3 million views within its first 3 days on HBO Max. This is more than a huge win. It solidifies Gunn as showing an ability to manage this early phase of a new verse and chapter for DC Entertainment. It's top 5 ever for an HBO Max show. It's also the biggest debut ever for DC Studios. Yes, we can claim a victory here. For comparison, Penguin premiered to 10 million viewers over the course of 11 days. Lanterns has officially overtaken House of the Dragon to become the #1 show on HBO Max worldwide. Chris Mundy reveals that James Gunn gave the Lanterns team plenty of creative freedom during development, with no requirement to directly set up Jon Stewart's appearance in Man of Tomorrow. While Gunn was busy working on Superman, Mundy says the team was trusted to build their own story. We knew we were putting Jon on his feet, but there wasn't an actual story point that we had to land him on. We weren't shoehorned into anything at all. From the immediate success, the usual Snyder bros, who are Zack Snyder DC fans that didn't want another creative taking over, which is why they hate on James Gunn, the new creative in charge of the DCU. They are doing what I expected in trying to take away all credit for the success from Gunn.
Based on my experience and journey through life and watching shows, it's not for people that's under 50.
Gunn arrived later with the same grounded direction, killed Hal Jordan, and used another story built around Green Lantern Generations. It was sold as a fresh DCU vision. It looks more like the rejected HBO version rehashed under a new regime and woke to boot. Listen, I gave my review on Lanterns 5 out of 10. You know, the episode was mid to me.
Let's be clear, Cosmic Book News, the Restore Snyderverse main site promoting fake rumors, James Gunn gives credit, but also takes what is fair credit from his involvement. He stated, "To be clear, we came up with the concept, along with the other writers in the writer's room, not the story. The forthcoming story is all from the magnificent minds of Chris, Tom, and Damon." End quote. Tom King and James Gunn created the initial story for Lanterns together. They sketched out the concept during the first few months of DC Studios. If this were any success of the DCEU, no matter how hands-off Zack Snyder was, you Snyder cult-minded folks would try to overstate his credit. I mean, the only billion-dollar movie was James Wan's Aquaman in the DCEU. Even adding Batman for ticket sales in the superhero boom era didn't clear 900 million, let alone $1 billion, and that was teaming up Superman and Batman in a live-action movie for the first time ever. The Snyderverse bros have officially launched a cyber attack against the Gunverse's Lanterns TV show, inspired by its recent success. Apparently, some of the submitted review sites are getting hashtag comments of "Restore the Snyderverse." Lanterns is the victim of review bombing. The DC Studios series would be receiving a wave of lowly, undeserved 1-star ratings on IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes, apparently as part of a review bombing campaign by a faction of the fan base of a certain director. I mean, even the worst motels with lack of running water, air conditioning, and clean sheets can score a 1.5. Hey, this isn't Bates Motel where you get a free breakfast alongside murder. This show is killing it for totally different reasons, and the review bombing is obvious. Despite this, Lanterns currently has an 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb and a 95% approval rating among critics on Rotten Tomatoes, but the audience rating on the latter continues to drop. I can only imagine how much higher, perhaps nearly perfect, it would be without the zombies tampering with real results metrics. You scoundrels. Oh, geez Louise, this isn't new though to their tactics. Not only was there evidence of this with Supergirl, but in March 2021, a faction of Zack Snyder fans review-bombed Godzilla vs. Kong on sites like IMDb by giving it 1-star ratings. They did this to protest Warner Bros. After studio executives stated they had no plans to continue Snyder's DC film universe. They are striking me as rather unhappy people who claim to be Snyder fans, but all their energy seems into faking outrage on the DCU. I'm not sure they even watch his stuff or have recently, to be honest. I wish there was a different review submission system that weeds out multiple fake accounts and bots better, alongside ensuring what they review was fully watched to even share a score on it. It's ridiculous that an anti-woke agenda and Snyder Bros collaboration is happening essentially. They run in similar circles, but the far-right grift, such as Nerdrotic and Critical Drinker, do carry a lot of influence. They are still actively trying to program their audience that Lanterns is bad, regardless of reviews and true word of mouth. Sure, some purists may be hesitant about possibility Hal Jordan is, for good, dead in the series. The premise, though, was a veteran Green Lantern handing the reins of the ring over to the new main Green Lantern in John Stewart. This type of story decision isn't cutting out Hal in his prime. He has traveled a long road and taking the responsibility of his oath to heart. I'm personally a larger fan of the John Stewart story, but I'm glad they've weaved together Hal Jordan into a key role of this origin essentially. There is just an anti-Gunn and DCU hater crowd that will attack anything he does, regardless of even watching to experience it. That's pretty pathetic. Also, they had no problem with liberties Zack Snyder would have taken. I mean, Lois Lane and Batman/baby daddy Bruce Wayne? That's right, not a chip off the Kryptonian block, but rather a deviation away from Clark and Lois for shock value. All good though, right, Snyder guys? Hypocrisy at world's finest indeed. Chris Mundy reveals that James Gunn gave the Lanterns team plenty of creative freedom during development, with no requirement to directly set up John Stewart's appearance in Man of Tomorrow. While Gunn was busy working on Superman, Mundy says the team was trusted to build their own story. We knew we were putting John on his feet, but there wasn't an actual story point that we had to land him on. We weren't shoehorned into anything at all. James Gunn reveals that the Superman sequel, Man of Tomorrow, has officially reached its 85th day of filming, by the way. The film is set to hit theaters on July 9, 2027. I am wondering when the right time is to tease a Brainiac promotional picture soon. It's not a bad idea to ride out the bump in positivity that Lanterns is giving this new verse. With that, there are still some detractors, the loud, obnoxious minority of DC-ish fans. Damon Lindelof reacted with humor to the frustration of some fans over the controversial and mysterious ending of the first episode of Lanterns. The co-creator joked, blaming the bosses of DC Studios. Yes, we're going to blame James Gunn and Peter Safran. If you like it, it was our idea. If you don't like it, it was their idea. That's being facetious, as was his lack of green joke. For the Snyder bros out there watching without ability to read social cues, you'll see a lot of distraction stories and excuses for success. Those are not DC fans, they are cult-minded folks who want to see DC fail. It's not about the characters to them, it's about being part of a movement and winning at a game to take over the Hollywood elite in their minds. As Sean Chandler, a popular YouTuber, once pointed out, it never stops at the current mission anyways. Those in movements want to keep moving because if they win, their purpose is over. They will always find the next hashtag. They will always fake and cope the next rage bait issue. They've lost their own free will at this point and are in a collective groupthink mentality. It's actually sad if you think about it. In some other news, the Batman 2 filming continued and we have a look at the Batmobile on set. Yes, the movie Snyder Bros said wouldn't happen, that James Gunn would block Matt Reeves to force it cancelled. Well, we came to find out Gunn is getting credited with moving him along into production as he managed DC Elseworlds, which as his Batverse. Basically, Gunn will get some credit for the Batman 2, Lanterns and decision for getting Clayface made. His approach isn't to make everything into Guardians of the Galaxy. He wants tonal separation while connected. Superman is going to be the most comic booky, but there's room for grounded worlds that can interact with each other, which I find a fascinating concept that won't box everyone in creatively. I believe his Batman will include the superhero and supernatural elements that the comics have. No shade to Reeves or Nolan, but I'm ready for higher stakes and challenges beyond Batman's abilities to deal with. DCU fans, the future is bright. Supergirl, for many reasons out of its control, put a temporary blip which took some momentum out. I'd argue that not only is momentum up from Lanterns, it's higher for the DCU now than ever, and hope of a sustainable verse is tangible. This is big. As the dust settles on this WB sale, I believe whether it's Paramount, another buyer if it falls through, or the WB staying on their own, the DCU will be continuing as planned. We will be getting another Batman story within this new verse. We will get a Justice League movie at the right time. We will be seeing lots of new solo projects for all our favorite heroes. Look up, not back, no Snyderverse, no problem. With that, it's today's Hubub, and please like and subscribe, folks. Take care of yourselves and others.